I named this video money, information, and fraud. Another way of putting this is how capital or money that people need to use to make companies or do what they need to do in their lives, like make new inventions or um, make new products, how this money is ruined or siphoned off or concentrated and becomes inaccessible to people, and then it also suffers crises where it's devalued or just basically ruined or becomes useless. Well, I was talking to my sister and my mother in Iran because we got this new communication. Right now there is Messenger, and over there they have IMO. I think they have WhatsApp too. My sister has WhatsApp because it encrypts all the messages and videos, so the government cannot come in and mess it up. And I was asking my sister. I told her, asked her, what's the price of a car, a new car? Over there they call new cars 0 kilometer car, like there is no nothing on it, on the mileage. I said, is there like would the banks loan you money to pay a little bit by little bit? She said, no, there is no banks. You just have to come up with the cash for the car, and that's it. I guess over there they don't like loans with interest payments because riba is forbidden in Islam. So, but she said that my husband Abbas, I guess he's connected. Usually, what he does is arranges with the factory or comes up with a lump sum and then hooks up the other family members. So this is how they get their cars, new car, Taycan, which is also manufactured in Iran. Well the other way, I'm just trying to get this concept of like when the average Joe in a country has skin in the game. Is not like a big corporation or somebody like that, issuing loans, but the ordinary people, they have these little businesses that do these functions, and the money or the profit, whatever it is, comes back again to the same people. Well, actually, I'm using a system which is like called Hawala. Some people know about this, which is like if you want to give money to your family. Say I give money to my mother and she distributes it to my brothers and my sister. Then I use a businessman here. I give him the money, and he's got family over there, and they deposit the money directly into my mother's account. So it's like the dollars never leave here, but it's like mirrored over there, something like that. So this concept of having a hand in the transactions, which whether it's buying something important or well, the Iranian companies manufacture the car, or transferring money, they are very important. And another concept or idea that is very important, and many Iranians and also the French know about this, is that in the Iranian culture and also the religion of Islam or Shia, there is a certain disdain for the bourgeoisie, for the wealthy, of people who by gambling or by by banking fraud or by manipulating things. They amass a lot of wealth, or and they're now very kind to these people. Well, I posted something that the Iranian government had executed a guy. He was a money exchanger, but he also was hoarding the gold and jacking up the prices of the gold coins. So they finally caught up with him, and he had about 2 tons of gold coins. So probably the government confiscated the gold, and then they executed him because it was like the third time that they had caught up with him for hoarding and also for financial fraud. So usually, regularly, on and off, the government kills these kinds of people. They kill their bankers. I think a few years before, they executed another guy. At that time, Americans were more successful sanctioning the Iranian oil industry. So Iran was using this Jewish guy that had good relations with the banks in like Germany, and they were transferring money back and forth. Then this guy, he skipped on the transferring of about $2 billion worth of the money that belonged to the government. So they caught up with him. I don't know how they recovered the money, or well, over there the government has wide discretion, and they probably confiscate everything he had and find out where the money had gone, and then they also executed him for large-scale fraud. So they're not very kind to these kinds of people. Well, the next on the list would be like pedophiles, and the Shah's government got the axe too, and many of them were executed. They were looking for Shah himself, but then he skipped town, I suspect he staged his death, or he died from, they say that he died from blood cancer. I don't know, back then AIDS was not too well known. Might have been AIDS because there was also rumors of homosexuality. I don't know. So, but I just want to get at this idea of how the culture and also religion and just the people know that the concentration of wealth is a really rotten thing and ruins society. And in daily practice and in the government practices, there's all these little hang-ups and little checkpoints to make sure that these individuals, these groups, these wealthy personalities, they don't prosper too much, and they don't have like here or they aren't able to buy the politicians. So there is always something going on, and even at the Shah's time, periodically they would catch up with these people, and they put them in jail, or well, lately after Shah, Khomeini's regime and on, they just execute them, or I think with this last guy that was doing the hoarding with the gold, he had prior convictions, and he wasn't the only one. There was another accomplice that he had. So I think the French also know about this, and actually the French Revolution was because of all the corruption in the royal family and excessive taxations, and using religious laws like Christian laws to justify their behaviors. So the people just finally got really fed up. And then now, I was listening to Kai's report. They were talking about quintillion effect, which means like the central banks, they publish money and give it to the corporations or wealthy, and they prosper. But the purchasing power of the average French has been dropping, and they kind of already figured it out. Hey, this is not ending very well. There is too much concentration of wealth, and we need to end this. Um, and so there is rise. And I think these countries like Iran and the France, they are the very first ones that they're going to recoup and get back on their feet after a worldwide economic collapse, because their culture and their innate intelligence is telling them, hey, this is not ending well. This is going to be rotten. When the velocity of money, the money that goes from hand to hand, in the when that drops, or certain corporations or certain